皆さんこんばんは。私はクリスです。今日も一日お疲れ様でした。ご視聴ありがとうございます。For today's reaction video, I am watching Charlie Kirk's final message to Japan. The video is from this channel. It was suggested by this viewer. Thank you so much for your suggestion. では早速始めましょう。
Japan is a very unique country,
True.
and objectively, Tokyo might have been the most impressive city I've ever visited. From how clean it is, from how seriously even the just everyday workers take their job. The bus drivers wear white gloves, they bow when you go on, they take their little jobs so seriously. But there is an effort underway in Japan, as there was a big effort underway in Europe and our country, to bring in a bunch of foreigners and to say, well, you know, they're Japanese too. Japan could maybe assimilate 10 Pakistanis or 100 if they didn't take any more right away. But 1 million? And we know they're not assimilating at that point. And we saw a little bit, you know, just a little bit in Tokyo. You know, Mohammedan there, Mohammedan here. Like, ooh, that's interesting. I didn't know I was in Paris. I didn't know I was in London. But the point is this: if you do not have a picture of national identity, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Now, America's picture of national identity is different than Japan's. Japan is tied to their ethnicity, and that's okay. It works for them, and it's unbelievably impressive. We have a different picture of national identity. We are, of course, a people and also a propositional nation. We're both. Japan is something different, though, and they should be allowed to be different. Japan is not a propositional nation. Japan is a people. They are an ethnicity. They are a genealogy. And it's worked incredibly well for them. They are one of the oldest and greatest cultures and civilizations. But isn't it just so striking, as you're looking at a picture of Tokyo right there, isn't it so striking that the globalist forces, they want to try to destroy any culture, any city that is working and functioning. So there's a major movement in Japan. It's called the Sanseido Party that is ascendant, and they are calling out the private, quiet infiltration of foreigners into Japanese society. And I'm cheering them on, because here I am as an American wanting Japan to remain Japanese. It would be a demerit for the planet. It would be a demerit for the world if all of a sudden Japan fell the same way that Paris fell. And they do things differently. They're not a Christian nation. They're a Shinto nation. They are one that has traditions in Japanese culture and the samurai and duty and honor. And I think that's awesome. In fact, dare I say, I actually want the diversity amongst nations. Our national identity changed after the second great immigration wave of the 1910s and 1920s. But we are still a nation founded on Christian European settlers with norms and customs and faith emanating from Western civilization, from Christian civilization. And you shouldn't want to change America, and you shouldn't want to change Japan, because we already know what has happened when you change Paris and you change London. National populism is a check against globalists. And we shouldn't go impose into Tokyo being like, well, Tokyo, you guys are too Asian. Let's just apply, by the way, let's apply the left-wing framework. What's so interesting is, do you know they're calling Japanese racist for not wanting to take immigrants? Oh, you're racist because you don't want to take a bunch of Arabs in your country. You're racist because you don't want to take a bunch of Indonesians in your country. And Japanese are like, racist? What does this word even mean? What do you mean? It is a purely Western moral framework that we're overlaying against a multi-thousand-year great civilization. So here, we as Westerners, we can't help but be, you know, somewhat colonialist and imperialist. So left-wing imperialist colonist forces are coming in and scolding Japanese politicians for not taking immigration. And honestly, Japan does not want to commit political and cultural suicide, and we commend them for that. Japan should close its borders. Japan should say, nope, we're going to figure out our birth rate problem, which the Japanese birth rate problem is bad, but it's not as bad as Korea's. Left-wing colonialism equals open borders. It is a soft form of imperialism. And I saw it firsthand because the country works. It is an objectively functioning country. It is not South Africa. It is not Angola. It is not Bangladesh. You don't have to go in search of a solution. Like, well, we have major problems in Tokyo. And by the way, how often do you hear from politicians here in America, well, be very careful, we might end up like Japan. End up like Japan? You mean where you can ride the subway without being stabbed in the neck? Where everything works and the streets are clean and people are polite? Yes, Japan has issues. I'm glad that we actually have a different dynamism, a different energy, a different entrepreneurial spirit that you don't have there. And I think that's significantly lacking. But they have a stable, orderly, beautiful, lasting society. And that's a really important thing. And not only that, I felt welcome, I felt honored, I felt received. But we should keep Japan Japanese.
True.
And people say, well, Charlie, they have gun laws. Well, before they have gun laws, they have third world laws. You don't need all these gun laws if you don't, it's okay if everybody owns guns if you don't have a bunch of third worlders coming into your nation that don't abide them and then commit a lot of crimes. Now, in Japan, not only are they tough on crime, they have the death penalty and their jails are really intense. And one of the aspects that I think that was so telling of the entire trip is that it shows that we in America have actually done the hard things. But it's very simple things. Crime is not hard to solve. You just have to stand up to the Democrat, soft on crime, open prison reform nonsense. You need political willpower, to be perfectly honest with you. And far too often, we, as Americans, we put up with stuff we shouldn't. Now, the left say, well, gun laws are why Asia is so safe. Now, mind you, I'm not even getting into the fact that the no gun crime. How does the left then explain the no muggings, the no stabbings, the no graffiti, the no homeless, and the no bums? How do you explain that? Let me tell you right now, Japan has no lack of knives. You go to any sushi restaurant, they're everywhere. And they say, well, strict gun laws equal nice stuff and no crime. It is a complete misnomer. No, they have high trust society is what they have. And the other takeaway when it comes to a high trust society is you must have a serious picture of national identity. We do not have a picture of, and it's, again, I'm not saying it's racial. It is racial in South Korea and Japan. They've decided to govern that way. And it's actually a really nice place to live. I'm not even prescribing that to the United States of America. We have a different mission statement. We are both a people and a proposition. Some people don't like that we're a proposition, but part of our national compact is propositional. It's not simply just a people. But if you are only a propositional people and you are not a people at all, if you're just a proposition and not a people, you don't have a nation. If you're just an idea, I used to believe this garbage like 10 years ago. America is just an idea. Not true. By the way, these are just pictures of luggage sitting unattended outside convenience stores in South Korea. Let me show this to you. Do you think this has anything to do with gun control? People just leave their stuff out and open outside of a convenience store in South Korea. Look at that. You just leave your luggage. You're going to go shopping, you just leave your stuff. No one's going to take it. Literally, we were at the South Korea airport, and Blake and I walked around. I was like, Blake, where's your bag? He's like, oh, I left it at the airport. I left it at the gate. So what do you mean? He's like, yeah, no one's going to take it. So you just leave your stuff laying around. Does gun control have anything to do with that? Is that having to do with gun control to the American left? No. It's about a high trust society. You just leave your bags around. No one cares. It's just because no one's going to take it. It's a civilized society. We could live this way. We decide not to. We decide to live in this high crime infested, violent, third world place. And again, we are the greatest nation ever, but this is a problem. We shouldn't have to live when it comes to crime. These are basic quality of life issues where you can just have a big roller bag and be like, yep, I'm just going to leave it out here. I don't need to guard it. They don't have an attendant. They don't have a security guard. They have one thing that we do not have. They have a high trust society, and we should try to restore it.
Thank you for this video. Thank you so much, Mr. Charlie Kirk, for this wonderful message to Japan. May your soul rest in peace. Well, Japan belongs to Japanese people. Thailand belongs to Thai people. Philippines belong to Filipino people. So their country, their rules. As Mr. Charlie Kirk said, Japanese are not racist people. They welcome any or every visitors coming in their country. I think that's what makes Japan so unique. It's the high trust society they have. a lot of foreigners are visiting Japan, it's because of this high trust society. Foreigners should not let that trust broken. As a foreigner visiting Japan, we should also protect their culture and the way they live in Japan. The message really means a lot, not only to Japan, but to any nation. I hope political leaders would hear the message of Mr. Charlie Kirk. Protect their nation, their people, their culture. Well, this was a great video. I would like to thank my viewer who suggested the video. Thank you so much. And to all my viewers, ご視聴ありがとうございました。また次回お会いしましょう。おやすみなさい。